Jesus.
Yeah. All right.
Did anyone have a bit?
Uh,
Or you want to just jump right into
I
oh,
went
I
to see
mean,
this movie twice.
it?
I wanted to,
At a
but
bit.
then I was like, I don't want to spend more money on a movie. I loved it, but
Yeah.
I don't want to spend another $10
There.
on a
Buckets.
ticket.
Oh yeah.
Someone
Oh,
hit the
yeah.
intro.
I forget how expensive movies are over there. They're stupid cheap here.
Hey, everybody, this is Fernando from the Rollback Podcast, and with me we have our residential idiot Eddie and Chema, and we are reviewing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
It's how you wear the mask that matters. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. But when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders and must redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves most. So this is the sequel. Sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that was released in 2018, I believe, end of 2018. Animated film made by Sony, co-produced and co-written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And we have the sequel. I think it's very obvious to say that the original one took a lot of people by surprise. We did not expect it to be as amazing as it turned out. And I remember what I thought when I saw the original one was more than I want this movie to be successful, whether it be money or Oscars, which it got both. I wanted to be influential. I wanted to start a new wave. I wanted to be like a trendsetter, a trailblazer. And I'll be happy to confirm that, yeah, it did that, because a lot of animated films are trying to look like this. And they're only coming out good because Puss in Boots was good. The next Turtles movie looks good. Hell, even Disney's it's just trying to jank this style as well with their next movie. But this is a sequel, ups the ante, ups the scale, ups the tempo, ups everything. And I'm so happy to say that this movie was a fucking delight. I was so joyful watching this movie. I had a blast. I was having fun. I love the action. I love the comedy. I love the soundtrack. I love the characters. It's got one of the most interesting designs and flows I think we've seen in a movie. And God, it's been such a long time that a movie left me with a cliffhanger that we all yelled at the screen when that to be continued came up. And I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one that felt that way. So those are my initial thoughts. What did you all think about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse?
That's the review, everybody. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I remember afterwards I was like, holy shit, it's been 5 fucking years since Into the Spider-Verse came out. And I was like, wow. Hope to God the next movie doesn't take 5 years. And no, and I mean, I like the cliffhanger. Though the first time I remember feeling like that sort of like, what? There's no more? Was with when I saw Fellowship of the Ring as a kid.
Yeah.
When it got to the end and you see Sam and Frodo look over the mountain and you see Mordor and then the movie cuts. And I'm like, there has to be fucking more. But this one was a good cliffhanger. And I was telling Eddie before we started recording, this movie did what Fast X could not do and leave people wanting more.
I agree. I agree. To make a comparison as well, maybe it's sacrilegious to say this, but I think this is my favorite cliffhanger since Empire Strikes Back.
Were you alive?
I watched it as a kid. I watched them when I watched them as a kid. I felt. I mean, of course, it's not the same thing because I didn't watch them.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
But I finished that and I was like, "What?" And also, this movie's long. This movie's 2.5 hours, I think. And
it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I thought I was fucking crazy because I was like, this movie feels like it's 3 hours long. Like, I felt they squeezed so much content into this 2 hours and 20 minutes because I was just like, this has to be a 3-hour movie.
and it didn't feel it. I never felt the weight. I never felt tired. I never felt sleepy while watching it. I watched this on Thursday, like on the night it came out, and that day I woke up at 4 a.m., went to work, got out of work at like 3:45, went to see some friends. We rewatched the first one. I bought like a big ass iced coffee, and then we went to see this one at 9 p.m. and no, could not didn't feel sleepy, didn't feel tired. I could have stayed up and watched it again if I could have. Eddie?
Hashtag same. I mean, I didn't feel the time of this movie. I knew it was 2 hours and 20 minutes going in, but everything was just running so fast. But I also found myself thinking, like, they're running out of time. When are they gonna resolve this? Because I know the 2 hour 20-minute mark is coming up, but I never found myself being like, oh, why don't you just cut this, cut that, get to the end of it already. There was nothing in this film I would like for them to cut. Like, some people could argue, oh, just cut the part where him and Gwen Stacy are just shooting the shit because it's not really that important. No, like, that's important character work. Oh, just cut the part where, with Mayday, we don't need her. But it feels relevant. It feels important, When we say, cut the fat off, that's pointless shit. This movie, I don't feel like that's a thing. I feel like everything had a reason to be there. From the little things to the big things.
I agree.
The art style. Can we compliment the art? Like, just from the get-go, the art style was, like, fucking impeccable.
I love this animation. The animation, I mean, it's like you're watching a live-action comic book come to life. And I think this movie is a lock for the animated Oscar this year.
I don't think anyone could top it. I don't see how anyone could.
I think Disney got stale, and like they haven't really tried to be innovative. Like they put, like, don't get me wrong, like their stories are good, but like as far as innovative and things like that, I mean, I haven't seen Disney really try and be innovative in a long time. Like, it feels like once they got that 3D animation, they were just kind of going to stick that in that lane.
Yeah. To me, the last great Disney film was Soul.
Cars 2.
Or I guess that was the beginning of the end. No, to me it was Soul. Like Soul. I mean, I guess it's Pixar, but like to me, Soul is like the best last thing that they did. And I'm so glad you brought up Disney, because after this movie came out, after seeing this movie, I don't want to see another person say, oh, they should just resell the Spider-Man rights back to Disney. Disney would have never done this. No. Disney would have never been this bold, this brash, this ballsy. Like, this movie is like a big fuck you to anyone who says that animation is not cinema, to those stupid people that you try to make art using AI. Like, this is so soulful and so fun and so full of energy. Starting with the fact that every character has a different art style, and every character's world has a different art style that they have to like incorporate and try to make fit. There's live action sequences in this movie that don't feel out of place, that don't feel like they break the flow or anything. They found a way to incorporate them where it works really well. Like, I feel like if you watch some early 2000 animated movies, you can see when they're kind of trying to cut corners and use CG instead of 2D, and you can see the when it's on top of something. Here, the different animation styles just flow so beautifully. I was reading that just to create the art style for Spider-Punk, it took them 2 years, like 2 full years just to make Spider-Punk, just to make him real. And you can feel like the manpower that was done. Like, you could feel like hours of crunch and different art styles. And fuck, there's even a Lego section in the movie.
Oh, that's right.
That doesn't feel out of place. I looked it up. That Lego section was made by a 14-year-old kid. That the people at Sony just found that he recreated the trailers using Legos, and they just gave him a job. Like that kid is gonna go to animation school in a few years, and he's gonna show up his credits and be like, "Oh yeah, I worked in Across the Spider-Verse." Like this fucking kid. And I have nothing but this is gonna be a very boring review because I'm just gonna be like, "This is great. This is awesome." I have no flaws for this movie, really.
It's also the benefit of not having the characters that Marvel has, because Marvel has almost every character, and so if you're not serving their grand purpose, I don't think they're really gonna put much stake in you. Not saying like it's a bad thing. What they do is really good. Like they do really well with their live action movies. But the benefit of having Sony own Spider-Man is that that's their only IP. Like they can work on that. So like as opposed to someone like Marvel where they would have to dedicate a team from not working on the live action movies but to work on their animated movies, like I feel they would feel like it's detrimental, or like it wouldn't service it right. But I mean power to Sony, and I'm saying this, they've only put out 2 movies, but they're on a really good roll, and they're touching that DC status of animated movies very early on. Because one thing that I like about animated movies is that you're able to do far and away more than what you're able to do in live action. You have to deal with contracts, you have to deal with dates, filming dates, locations. But with animated movies, yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to deal with dates, but for the most part, if you get them in to record, I mean, you're pretty much set. And then the animators have to do their work.
Agreed. I mean, shit, man. Sony, I think Into the Spider-Verse came completely out of left field, and somehow they topped it, or at least built on it, like in the best way that they could. In most sequels, like they falter, they drop the ball, they fuck up somewhere. This movie only built, like it took the foundation from the original and only added more to it. Like let's talk about the opening part of the film, which takes up actually a good chunk of the film.
We get
that's where I thought this movie was kind of misleading, because it's like it was a Spider-Man movie, but in reality, it was kind of a 60 or like a 70-30 split. It was like 30% Gwen, 70 Miles, or maybe 60-40.
Yeah, we got like a good 20-minute short Spider-Gwen movie.
Yeah.
That got to like cover her art style, the background, her origin story, her relationship with her dad. Her dad played by Shea Wiggum, who is gonna play a cop for the rest of his life. I think that's the only thing he knows how to play. And Haley Steinfeld, who plays Spider-Gwen. She's great. I'm a big fan of her. I think she did a good job as Gwen. And I like how
I love her in everything. Anything she does, I love her.
Yeah. It could be hell. She was in the best Transformers movie. I'll say that.
For me, it was Edge of 17.
Oh, Edge of 17 was super fun.
That one was really good. Teen movie that you just don't see anymore.
Yeah. Forgot. Academy Award nominated Haley Steinfeld. I'm sorry. I should have prefaced with that.
She was Academy nominated?
She was she was in the True Grit remake. She was she was
nominated for that one. I forgot.
Yeah. That's right. She got her start early.
Yeah. So she brings to life Spider-Gwen. I like how it starts immediately with she's kind of isolated, she's kind of alone, she doesn't have friends. We saw this in the previous one. She misses Miles because she made a genuine connection with him in the first movie. Mm-hmm. And we have a good setup because we have her trying to escape her dad. Dad has like a personal vendetta against her. And through those sections, I like how we also showed that she has that Spider-Man jokesy personality. When she meets Spider-Man 2099, immediately she starts making jokes like, "Are you the Blue Panther? Are you this? Are you Seth Garfield? Like what's going on?" Like immediately she starts making jokes. She starts doing the thing, and I think she's established greatly at the start. We're introduced to Miguel O'Hara, who was Spider-Man
That
2099.
piece of shit.
Hey,
Uh,
I'll defend him.
I won't. He's a
We,
piece of
we,
shit.
we can get to that later.
Yeah. The cool thing about Miguel O'Hara in this movie is that, yeah, if you saw the movie, the entire thing from his perspective, yeah, he does what a great. He's not a villain, but he's a rival in the movie, and he does a great thing where he's like, you can see where he's coming from, and there is like tragedy behind. He's introduced. They start fighting. They fight this really cool version of the Vulture from
Oh
like
yeah,
Da Vinci times.
the Renaissance vulture.
Yeah, like that was when the movie started and they showed us like that design. I was floored. I was like, ah, I'm so in. Like, this is whatever you want to do after this, go. Like, I'm so in if you're gonna be this bold. Anyway, they end up joining forces, and we have this very dramatic scene where she faces her dad. He's kind of about to shoot her, and then she has to take off her mask and try to explain everything. He starts quoting the Miranda rights, and then she like dips. A very good start to the movie, a very strong start to the movie, I believe.
We get the Gwen Stacy part of it. What's it called? She at one point her dad pulls a gun on her. Granted, he doesn't know it's Gwen. And I like how they even point out, she even points out, like, well, which is it? Do you want me to put my hands up or do you get on the floor? Like this shit. And he fires a warning shot. Again, he doesn't know it's his daughter. Takes off the mask. And instead of doing what I think most parents would do, which is put your mask back on, get the hell out of here. I'll talk to you about it at home.
Yeah.
I don't think he pulls the gun, but he tells her you have the right to remain silent. It's like, you're really gonna put the job over your kid? Wow. All right. You know what? I get why she left you to die. Because remember,
happened yet.
I mean, he was kind of not sideways. He was blindsided by the fact that his daughter has been keeping this secret for so long.
But instinct is to protect your loved one. Look, man, if tomorrow my fucking
have you never heard of protecting your loved one by letting them sit in jail and think about what they've done wrong?
No. Because I would assume the best in them.
Oh, well, that's your fault.
Well, it depends on the loved one. Like, if I found out you did something wrong, that's a different story.
So you're saying if your kid fucked around and drunk drove, you would gladly pull him out of jail?
This is great radio, guys.
But that's different, though, because there's drunk driving and then there's being a superhero and having
being a vigilante is against the law.
No, but repeatedly saving lives?
Vigilantism is against the law.
I don't give a fuck. If my daughter is constantly saving people's lives and making headlines saving people, you know what?
It is against the law. Black and white.
You know what else was against the... I'm not going to go into that. There were a lot of other things that were against the law that were not...
What, your favorite laws, Eddie? The ones back in the early 1900s?
Okay, now we're pushing it. So let's get back to the film.
Our review has not lost its train of thought since the Fast 10 review. Jesus Christ.
So let's talk about Brooklyn, Earth 1610, Miles Morales, who has this great scene where he's trying to get to a meeting. He has to fight Spot, and he essentially comes into conflict with his parents on a multitude of occasions.
Yeah. I like how we have this whole sequence where we see him already established as Spider-Man. We see that he's swinging around, he's doing the thing. And I like how the movie establishes Spot as like, it's just going to be like the villain for like the first 20 minutes and whatever. And then he just sweeps it under the rug and just makes us stick with him for the rest of the movie. I like also how he's so used to the environment. Like, I like how he gets into the store and he goes like, hey, man, how much do I owe you for this? And like the guy from the store already knows him. And it's like, just get him out of the store and it's on me. Like, it's like those kind of things really like establish Miles as like, oh, he's been there for a while. He already knows the territory. He knows what he's doing. He changed his suit. I personally like the original more, but okay, it's fine. It's kind of normal that they change their suits. And
I was not a big fan of the red. going down the armpits.
They even make
I
fun
like the
of that.
spray
Like,
paint look. I like the spray paint look the best.
yeah, me too. But anyway, so they have that. What did y'all think of the Spot? He's voiced by Jason Schwartzman, good friend of Wes Anderson. And I like it that
Isn't he
he
also
went
the
from.
voice of Sonic?
No, that's
Is he?
Ben Schwartz. No, that's Ben Schwartz.
Oh, it's Schwartzman.
Yeah,
It's easy to get that one confused. Um,
yeah,
I thought it was clever what they did because I mean we see him in the first 20 minutes and he's a fucking goof. Like you're just like,
yeah.
oh well, like he's gonna take care of this guy super easy, and that's gonna be it. But no, like they're like, no, this guy's gonna be a fucking problem.
What's called? I legitimately thought he was going to be a B villain, like a straight B. Like, okay, this is the dude he's going to beat up before he gets to a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Pleasantly surprised. They turned the Spot into the Spot. They turned the Spot into essentially what Mr. Freeze became, because Mr. Freeze was a joke until Heart of Ice. The Spot just got elevated to like this hardcore, over the top supervillain who has justifiable means, mind you. He's justified in being angry.
Yeah,
But
they threw a bagel at him.
But he can back it up. That's the scary part. He can fucking back it up. Also, I love the creative
bagel
fight.
guy.
I love the creative fight also, though.
Yeah, I like how they finally understood that because they've adapted the Spot before in like cartoons and stuff, but they always gave him eyes for some reason. And this one, they understood that, nah, it's just scary if he doesn't have any eyes. Like, just a big scary figure with just spots all over his body. I like that they had that ongoing joke of like, my holes are the key. It's all about my holes. And then finally, when he gets back into reality, like the very nice workers of New York City just go like, stop talking about your holes. Yeah. It's just
that's not what they would have really said, but that was very nice of them.
That's the PG version of what they would have said.
Yeah.
There would have been a lot of expletives in that sentence.
Is this PG or PG-13?
I think it's PG-13 because they dropped several shits in this movie. Like,
oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, also the action gets pretty intense. Like, I don't think you could get away with a PG rating for this film.
Yeah, Miguel O'Hara is like kind of intense. Yeah.
You can't really get a PG rating like unless you're just a strictly kids film.
Yeah. Also, this movie drops one of the hardest like curse words in Spanish, but I think they just left it there because there's a scene where when Miles escapes from Miguel and from everyone, and Miguel gives the order to like everyone in the complex, and it's like every chase after Spider-Man, and then everyone just like points at each other, and it's like which one? Yeah, and then Miguel goes like, "Ay, coño, Miles Morales!" Like, yeah.
What does coño mean?
Coño is like the dirtiest way you can refer to a pussy. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but like he drops it like hard. He goes like, "Ah, coño!" Like just yeah. Yeah. They think they could get away with it. They thought we wouldn't notice.
How is that in the Mexican theater?
Oh, we all laughed. but honestly, I think not a lot of people heard it because we all laughed when everyone started pointing at each other. So it was kind of like sneaky. Like, yeah.
It's like when they drew a dick on a Little Mermaid. They're like, no one's gonna notice this.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So scenes like that work. Well, we see him finding the Spot. We see Miles trying to do his best to get back into that meeting, and I like how we have this ongoing drama with the parents, which I think a lot of it is like, oh, our kid is growing, and a lot of it is like these parents are like a little too controlling. You gotta see both sides there because you understand Miles, but sometimes you understand their parents. Their parents with one kid, and that fucks them up, you know.
And they own a whole fucking floor in Brooklyn somehow.
Oh yeah.
Don't know how. They do. They own it.
Yeah.
Well,
don't get how.
I love how, and this is gonna sound stupid. I can speak from an academic advisor's perspective. When she's like, "This is the story," I'm like, "Yeah, it's the bullshit you have to do when you file an appeal." Yeah, you have to lie and be like, "This is my journey." I'm like, "Oh, god damn it, that's true."
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to sell yourself.
Exactly.
I'm just a poor boy. Look at me poor.
We can barely make ends meet. Well, we own the whole farm. Brooklyn. No one really say that. I'm about to make captain, so fuck me, right?
Yeah. Like I was like,
Um,
how the fuck do they own a whole floor? She's a nurse and he's a fucking cop.
yeah, maybe they
Is it?
inherited it and they just have to pay for it, the taxes.
Maybe.
I don't know. However, they got in 2008. Miles was a baby back then, so.
Yeah.
But
The
anyway,
recession.
yeah, the Great
Yeah.
Recession. Good times. Good
Yes.
times.
So which it's coming back. You saw that?
Woo!
You saw that? You saw that? The housing market is like this, close to crashing again.
Dito, you can get your the house of your dreams.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've been waiting for it to crash for 2 fucking years. I thought it would crash during the goddamn recession. Pop! Pop, you sack of shit. Fucking pop!
It's so close, man. It's gonna happen. And
Have you seen the memes where it was like when you realize you're being a piece of shit when you're 13 and you should have bought a house?
yeah. I see those memes.
yeah,
I shouldn't have fucked around in 3rd grade. I should have bought a house in 2008 instead of fucking around in 3rd grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there I was eating fucking dirt. Yeah. Anyway,
Good.
So-
3rd grader eats dirt.
I was bored. And
So we're introduced. Well, Gwen pops up.
yeah,
She arrives. I think it's what the end scene from Into the Spider-Verse.
yeah,
Where like she pops up in the portal.
And
And
finds
then,
all of Miles's drawings of her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his stalker's drawings of hers. And and then it goes from there. And we come to find out that she wasn't supposed to visit him.
yeah. We get this really, really great scene where they just start swinging together. There's a song playing, and I think that scene, I love it. I think it was entirely done just to flex on how smooth their animation is, because sorry, it was so like smooth and buttery, and I felt like I was playing the Spider-Man PS4 game. Like I almost felt like I knew what was how to move and where to go. But before that, a really funny scene when they're in his room and she sees like an action figure like still in the box, and she's like, "Why do you have this?" "Oh, good, I used to have one of these. Look,
Why
do
do
you
you
have
still have it in
in
the box?
It just like pops. Everyone in my theater just went like, "Oh no!" Like
A part of me died. A part of me died.
I'm gonna go to your office and do that to your Funkos, Eddie.
I'm gonna cut you. I'll fucking cut you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
They look better outside the box, Eddie.
I mean, but I'm trying to make money off them. But anyway, so we get Miles and Gwen. Also, I want to point out real quick that scene where they're both sitting upside down. Someone pointed out on
great
social
scene.
media.
Yeah.
They did the physics for the face where the eyebrows are kind of like up because of gravity. They were that fucking detailed in this film.
I mean, you have 5 years, might as well be that fucking detailed.
But like, you don't have to be. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying like that's admirable, man. Like that, I respect that. For them to be so fucking detailed that they take into account the skin, bravo.
Yeah.
But then we find out Gwen isn't just there to visit Miles. She did visit him, but she has a mission to stop the Spot. And she completely jumbles it. The Spot gets away. And Miles follows her. She didn't know, but he follows her. And they end up in Earth something. Earth 5101 with Spider-Man Javier and Hobie Brown to confront Spot.
Yeah, Spider-Man India, voiced by Karen Sony, who is the taxi driver in Deadpool.
Yeah, Dopinder.
Yeah.
I was like, is that fucking Dopinder?
Yeah. And this is where the British stole our stuff.
No, when he went, this is where the traffic is, and this is where the traffic is, and this is where the traffic. He was the British stole our stuff. I got what a fun little addition to the movie, because I personally really missed Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham, and Penny Parker. Like there were really fun additions in the previous movie. Especially, I missed Noir because I fucking love Nicolas Cage. But I like the new additions that we got. I liked Spider-Man India. I loved Hobby Brown, who was voiced. Yep.
I was a little iffy on Spider-Punk, but as the movie went on, I was like, all right, I fuck with Spider-Punk.
He was a little annoying. I'm gonna be real with you.
Once it got to the ending, I was like, I like Spider-Punk because I'd do the same shit.
No, like he has it where it counts. He has it where it counts, but I'm like the shit he says. I don't believe in democracy. Well, what do you like? Do you believe in this? No, I don't believe in nothing at all. I'm alternative. So what the fuck do you believe? Nothing. Like,
yeah, that's a scene.
He's
supposed to represent that like punk. That like
supposed
punk
to be
mentality.
anarchy.
No, but like
the Ramones in a Spider-Man form.
No, but he came off to me like the annoying kind of guy that, like a hipster almost. That's how he came off to me. I could be wrong. That's just the way I took it.
There's a piece of dialogue where he goes, "I don't believe in
like
teams,"
looking in a mirror, huh, Eddie?
Yeah, yeah. It's a piece of dialogue where he goes, "I don't believe in teams," and then Miles goes, "Aren't you in a band?" And he goes, "I don't believe in consistency either." Like that. I'm like,
but that's where it's supposed to be.
It's
funny.
Right there. Yeah, that's
supposed to be fun at it.
Yeah, it's a scene where they're fighting the Spot, and the Spot goes, "Oh, here comes the Spider-Man. They think they're so funny," and he went, "I don't believe in comedy." Just kidding, just joking. Like it's right there.
Like just get him or just
it's
like
supposed
bah!
to be fucking ironic.
Bah! No, I understand that, Renee. I just don't like it.
No, and I was so afraid that they were gonna like shift the story to turn it into like a weird love triangle between like him, Miles, and Gwen. So glad that they didn't. So glad that they made like Spider-Punk be like, nah, Miles my homie, Miles my boy. Like he even helps him escape. Like he tells him from the beginning, hey, use your palms. Like, and then when like chaos goes down, he just goes like, for the record, I quit. He just like leaves. Like he just like dips. But I noticed this the second time that I watched it, when they get into like when they're going towards Miguel, he's like stealing shit like from the walls, and Miguel, and Miles is telling him like, why are you doing it? It's like, well, Spider doesn't do anything. Like, well, what does it matter? And he's constantly telling Miles like, you don't need his watch, make your own watch. He literally made his own watch by the end, like out of all the shit that he stole. It's great. Like it was set up, and yeah, I liked him. And also Daniel Kaluuya voices him, and I'm so glad they let him use like his natural Cockney accent.
The guy from Get Out?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, I did not catch that.
Yeah, they let him use like his normal British accent, and this man is like super charismatic and super funny. I'm so glad a movie finally exploited that. So I'm glad they did. So who else we got? We got those two. We get Jake Johnson back as Peter B. Parker from the first movie, with a baby this time.
With Mayday?
Mayday Parker.
Yeah.
Come on, hold the baby.
Hold, everything will be solved if you just hold this magical child. Like he has great lines. Like,
but I feel like though that's what a father is actually like though. Like once you become a parent, that is you. Like, you look at how cute it is, and when he does the part of like, look at the pictures, look at all the pictures, look at all the pictures, look at all the pictures. I feel like that's real.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like I don't know if you want to jump to that part or like mention it, but he tells Miles like, I had her because of you.
Yeah.
You made me not afraid to have a child.
Yeah, like he's like, when I met you, I was like, I want to have a kid like that.
Yeah.
He has one of my favorite lines, and they did it in the trailer, but I still one of my favorite lines in the movie. When Miguel O'Hara's just ripping into Miles for all the bullshit.
Oh, dude, those fucking scenes. Oh, we'll talk about that when you finish yours, but
no, just that one part. Hey, go easy on the kid. He had a terrible teacher. Come on. like, oh, that's awesome. But
I love how he just justifies himself the entire time. He's like, maybe I wasn't the worst teacher.
And he's like, oh, that's your student. Well, he beat you, so it can't be all bad.
Yeah. But like, so yeah, that part when we come, like leading up to this part, Miles saves. I'm just gonna call him Dopender. That's why I know him. he saved Opinder's
You can
Spider-Man.
call him Spider-Man India. Like that's his real name.
Oh, that's his name, Spider-Man India.
Yeah.
All right, so he saved Spider-Man India's um
Like
event.
his Captain Stacy, I guess.
Yeah, he saves his event, which he wasn't supposed to do, and all of a sudden, like something starts happening, and I guess the universe is starting to eat itself. And so Miguel is like, we have to let your dad die. We have to let Miles' dad die, or else your universe is gonna get killed by itself. It's gonna get imploded. And Miles, like anyone, isn't gonna take that fucking laying down. He's like, no, I'm gonna fucking save my dad. And
that makes sense.
It's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're a piece of shit, Miles, for wanting to save your father. But that's when Miguel starts laying into him like viciously with just like, you weren't supposed to be Spider-Man. You're an anomaly. If
a universe has no Spider-Man because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, if it wasn't for you, your Peter Parker wouldn't have died. And like just completely lays into him, and then starts revealing like they all knew that he was not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
That's why no one ever looked like him.
There's not another Miles Morales. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't supposed to be a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when he was in that fucking spider tower, no one looked like him because there wasn't supposed to be anyone that looked like him.
But like Miles comes talking like, dude, I didn't ask to get bit. It just fucking happened, and I had to roll with it. Was it my fault that fucking spider showed up? I did the best with what I could.
Yeah,
like I feel like he had points to make, but now that we're talking more and more about it, I'll mention it at the end when we get to that big twist at the end. But no, Miguel being just the biggest douchebag, but also,
oh man, he plays a fucking good villain.
But here's the thing: I would argue he's not necessarily a villain because he has a point.
not a villain in the sense that we all know, but like
he's a foil,
a douche.
I will agree, he is a douche, but
they even pointed out like when Peter B. Parker comes out and like is trying to kind of like lay down Miguel, he even tells him like why aren't you funny? The whole thing about Spider-Man is that we're funny. Like you're the only one of us with no sense of humor. They didn't mention this in the movie, but Miguel O'Hara canonically is the only Spider-Man without spider sense. Like that's his thing. Yeah, so I think there's a lot that comes through, and yes, he is edgy, and yeah, he is a ninja vampire. They never fucking explain it in the movie, but they just say that he's a vampire. But there is like a tragedy of him. He doesn't want to see canon events go down, and he doesn't want to see anomalies because he knows what he did, and he knows the lives that he took by being selfish. So when he sees someone else do that, he sees them as selfish. There is kind of a heroism in there. It's just directed in a different way.
It only works when it's not people.
Yeah.
When these are people, they have feelings, they have thoughts, they have all these things. So that's where everything, like the black and white, just goes out the door. That's where it becomes shades of gray. But one thing that I started thinking about, okay, Miles is an anomaly. Didn't he prove your theory wrong? Because, or not wrong, but that it can be different because he wasn't supposed to exist.
And his universe is fine.
Yeah, his universe is fine.
So far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah. So far, yeah.
I mean, maybe he is playing with like fire, and like maybe the universe won't be fine if he saves his dad. But I mean, he's already proved you wrong once before. And for me, the parts that just hit the most was when he was like, they all know about it. And like he looks back and they're like with egg on their face, just like, fuck.
Yeah, because he turns to Gwen and tells her like, you're right, you shouldn't have come and see me. He tells Peter like, stop calling me kid. Like he ends up escaping, and I don't want to jump too far ahead because I think that chase sequence will go down in the books. Like, Jesus Christ, what a fun, fast scene. But when we jump again and they send them back to their dimensions, which, by the way, that machine that they use to return them back to the go home machine, what a creepy design. What a like genuinely like it moved slow and it had like these spider legs, and it was like the way that it moved, it was just very eerie and very, very scary. He ends up using it to go back home, and even when he has Miguel like all up in his face, like trying to open it, like you can feel like the genuine fear. Like like Miguel is like a killing machine, and but Gwen gets thrown back into her universe, and we have like this reunion with her dad, and a big key moment gets dropped here, which is what the dad tells, where now she knows that it's going to happen to her as well, and the dad just goes like, well, I quit, like I'm not going to be captain anymore. And it kind of hits Gwen like, oh, we can like escape the Karen events in a safe way. The thing is, will she have time to tell Miles? Yeah,
I told that to a coworker of mine. Actually, I was like, no wonder she didn't like. She knew a captain was gonna die. She knew it was probably gonna be her father. She never went back for him. I was like, man, I don't blame her for not going back for him.
Jesus, dude.
He pulled a gun on her. Admittedly, though, I probably would have gone back to save my dad, but still, I'm like, that's fucked up.
You're really holding on to this.
Who puts their job before their kid? Like, that bugs me.
That's all you know, and it hasn't lied to you like how she did.
That's your child.
Dude, people make mistakes.
And I'm assuming that his wife is dead. I'm assuming that it's just the two of them because he never mentioned the mom. I'm assuming she's gone.
People passed away. Make mistakes.
I feel like that's one of those mistakes that's too far. Anyway.
If you can't make mistakes with your own family and forgive them, then you might as well not talk to your family.
There's a big difference between you ate my candy bar and, hey, hands up, daughter of mine, last living relative that I have.
Eddie, we're the last ones to be judging family right now.
Anyway.
Oh my God. I want to know.
Anyway, okay. So what is it? Gwen finds out that there is a safety measure she could
honestly
take.
I never picked up on that until you all told me.
No, yeah.
What?
The safety thing?
I never picked up on that.
What safety thing?
Like curving canon events, but through an alternate route.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck. Can we mention that we see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in this film?
We also saw the mention of Doctor Strange.
And Venom, sort of, kind of. Mrs. Chen.
Yeah.
Counts.
That, I was so afraid that they were going to try to, like, chunk, like, a lot of it. I think the way that they did it. Actually, there was. He's in, like, the circles in the background. Like, he's somewhere in there. I didn't notice it because I wasn't looking for it, honestly. But what they did by showing Garfield was great. And I like how they gave equal size to the Maguire scene with Uncle Ben dying and Spectacular Spider-Man, like the animated one. They gave them like equal time.
Webb.
No Madam Web, you're right.
You would have thought that you would have saw Madam Web at least once.
I was afraid that they were gonna like tease her because they're making like a live action Madam Web with Dakota Johnson. I was thinking like, are they gonna like make her cameo like here before the movie comes out? All right, glad that they didn't. We had a little like audio file of Dr. Octopus saying hello, Peter, from the No Way Home too.
But
no,
you know what? Someone made a point that how important trains are to superhero films. Like, there's a lot of great train sequences, whether it's Batman, Spider-Man, the other Spider-Man, this Spider-Man. Like, trains always play a big role for some reason. They're always something that heroes can either be measured to, can they stop, or the destruction they caused. I just realized that. That's interesting.
Trains?
Because they still use it. Yeah, trains for some reason have like a big place in superheroes and comics and in general, because Superman, he was compared to like a locomotive. And for some reason, Trains always
Faster than
matter.
what?
Speeding bullet,
Faster than a speeding bullet, but isn't it? Doesn't
more
it use
powerful than a
train?
locomotive.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
don't. I was like, I'm pretty
Able
sure.
to leap tall buildings in single bound. But yeah, trains have always like played like a big role in superhero films and in superhero media in general. So I just realized we have another great train sequence in this film. It must have sucked for the people in that train though, seeing all the shit go down on top. Just like, what the fuck is that? I can just imagine. Um, but no. Okay, so Miguel gets ejected. He finds a way out. Gwen reconciles, and then I want to mention another thing: the betrayal of Gwen and Peter B. Parker. Remember, these were characters that Miles trusted wholeheartedly in the first film. In the first
Mm-hmm.
film, they even make a point of saying it. Like he says, "You guys don't understand what I'm going through," and I think they reply, "We're probably the only people in the world that understand."
Yeah.
Because we have this, we share this. We're the only ones. So for the people that he had to learn to trust the most to
Mm-hmm.
betray him, that's raw. That cuts him. And we get this great little scene. I wish it had been longer, but I understand why. Where Miles does talk to Peter B. Parker, and he says you you lied to me. You could have told me. You could have helped me, but you chose not to. And you understand why Peter B. Parker didn't do it, but there's still that element of betrayal there.
No,
And
Eddie, we can't forgive him. Remember, he's a piece of shit.
he wasn't going to try and throw his
No,
daughter. I'm pretty sure.
by your
No,
reasoning, we
no, no,
can't
no.
forgive him. No, we can't forgive him. He's a
No,
piece of shit, Eddie.
he's not putting
La,
his
la, la,
job.
la, la, I can hear you. La, 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 la.
Eat a dick. No, as the adults are talking. They have this great
I know
sequence
you're
where they go back and forth. Now they have this great sequence where they go back and forth. As far as
Fucking adult wearing a
I'm
muscle
gonna
shirt
turn
in your
this.
office.
I'm gonna turn this car right around.
But we get a great sequence of them talking, and I wish we had more of that because I feel like of all of them, I know he's in love with Gwen, but I feel like he looks at Peter B. Parker as more like his mentor. And I can only imagine feeling betrayed by someone that actually kind of helped to train you when it came to your Spidey sense, when it came to your web swinging, when it came to teaching you how to Spider-Man to go with the flow, he essentially helped you find your mojo. Like it's a leap
I
of
think it's
faith.
fair to say he put him in the same pedestal as his uncle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect. Yeah, you're right.
Definitely. Yeah.
But so
Yeah, and also I think we forget like Miles left with that like opinion of everyone. Like, yeah, we know they're gonna go to save him, but for like the next 10 months or so, like Miles is alone and he thinks that genuinely like no one is coming to save him.
And he feels betrayed.
Yeah, he feels betrayed and alone. And we know that they're gonna go and save him, but that conversation they're gonna have on the way back is gonna be a painful one. And the only thing that I expect is that the writing just elevates, and I hope that it's uncomfortable and hard to watch and hard to read and hard to listen, but that it's effective. That's all.
I did love how they made fun of Ben Reilly.
Oh yeah, he's voiced by Andy Samberg, which is just wonderful. Like fucking Jake Peralta, just like being
there's so much pain.
I gotta be here by myself and laying against this wall. Oh, that's right.
But I did think it was interesting on how they did that whole switcheroo, sending Miles to the universe
42.
that the spider came from.
Yeah.
Well, so let's just dump right into it. So Miles ends up there, realizes that he's in the universe where the spider came from. His dad's dead. His uncle is alive. I got scared for a second. I thought the uncle had gone with the mom, but it turns out he was just giving her money to help out with the bills. Thank God. But he even says, like, hey, Miles, you cut your dreadlocks? He was like, yeah, like he's trying to blend in. We think that his uncle's the Prowler, and he's interrogating him because when he figures out Miles isn't who he says he is, turns out we get the insane reveal that Miles in Earth 42, he's the Prowler. He takes off his mask, reveals his dreadlocks, reveals his look, and then Miles even he spills the beans straight out. Like, you need to let me go so I can go save our dad. And he says, and Miles says, "Why would I let you do that?" And like my eyeballs just like popped out of my socket, like, "Oh
That's how
shit!"
far gone he is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subtle moments to show like the difference. Like, for example, the Miles in Earth 42 pronounces his last name correctly. He doesn't say Morales, he say Morales, which is the right way to say it.
Yeah, he's more Hispanic.
Because he's only been with his mom. And
Yeah.
like he probably speaks like Spanish correctly. Like that's a callback to the beginning of the movie where he gets a B in Spanish. And his mom is telling him like, why are you Spanglishing it? Like, like speak correctly, which I think is a thing that happens very often when you have like parents like that one of the two.
No, my
also,
parents they fucking use Tex-Mex, and my brother will call him out on it. He's like, it's not parquear.
It's not parquear.
Yeah.
Parquear is not a word.
Yeah, it's a fake fucking word. It's Tex-Mex.
Like bistec. Did you know that bistec is not a real word?
Yeah, it's beefsteak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like another little difference, like the Miles in Earth 42, he wears Air Ones, like he doesn't wear Air Jordans, which I thought was like very subtle, but like to show that he wears a different shoe. The dreadlocks, of course, and he's even voiced by a different actor. I didn't caught it at first, but it's not Shamik Moore. It's a different actor voicing him, but he sounds kind of similar to him. Yeah, it ends in that little callback to the first movie where he gets Peter B. Parker and just like also like traps him in the boxing thingy. Same thing. We have this vicious scene where he like where his uncle kind of like punches the punching bag, and just like we have this like scene where like you almost feel like he did punch him, and it was like we're close to the end there. Yeah,
it was an interrogation technique. Like, hey, next time this is for you.
But we can't forgive him. Remember that. We can't forgive him. He's a piece of shit.
Was he going to turn him into the cops?
You never know. He was probably going to fucking kill him, Eddie. He was probably going to fucking kill him.
It's not his Miles, so it's fine. But anyway, we get also, I think, and I hope they talk about it in the next film. I don't know. I hope they do. What if this is what Miles was destined to be in his universe? What if he confronts that? What if his father was supposed to die in Earth 1610 and that Peter Parker was supposed to go after him after he becomes the Prowler? What if? Like, it's an interesting thought. Your circumstances create who you become. And it's interesting, and I hope they talk more about that in the future. But the movie ends with Miles trapped on this cliffhanger, but on the other side of the coin, Gwen Stacy recruits a team of Spider people to go save Miles and hopefully save his father, consisting of, obviously, Spider-Gwen. We also have Peter B. Parker, his daughter Mayday, Spider-Man India. Yeah, Spider-Man Noir, he returns. Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, the animatronic one, and Margot, who plays Spider-Bite, the tech one.
Yeah, the one that's a hologram.
Correct.
Oh, and escape, yeah.
And we're off to the fucking races, folks.
I think that she helped him escape.
Didn't let him escape. She could have pressed that button.
I think
what if she knew that he wasn't going to his right
universe?
We're
gonna have to find out in part 3, Ferny.
Yeah. Also, part 3 comes out in March, so it's not a full year that we have to wait. But
thank God.
Imagine if they said we'll do it in 5 years. We'll see in 2000.
Hopefully, it comes out quicker than fucking Spider-Man 2.
What?
Oh, the game, video game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. It took 5 years.
So fucking waiting on that fucking game to pop out.
It's gonna come out in September, I think.
Thank God.
Yeah,
the gameplay looks awesome.
The guy who voices Venom in the game, like accidentally like said like, yeah, it's coming out at like September, October of the year. And then Insomniac was like, you fucking idiot! Like you weren't supposed to say that. And then they
I'm just
the
like, fucking say it, dude, because you have so many people right now starving for games to come out, because it feels like every fucking game is either getting pushed back or they're so far ahead of time that
I don't mind that though. Like if it
I don't-
improves the quality of the game, why not push it back? Or
I
do you
do-
want? Or do you want
I
a
do
broken
the
fucking
game-
game?
I do if the game keeps consistent getting pushed back.
But this one, they never announced a release date. They just said like we'll release it when we released it. Look, I'm playing Zelda right now. I'm playing the new Zelda right now, and it came out like less than a month ago, and I saw an interview with Eiji Onuma who said like, "Oh, we finished the game a year ago, but we just said, oh, let's just keep working on it for another year." And they just didn't announce a release date. They were like, "Oh, we'll just it's finished, but let's just keep polishing it for like another year, like just for funsies." And now it's out, and it's completely bug free, man.
It's probably my own pissed offness with Xbox because I'm like, when the fuck is StarCraft coming out? That game looks awesome.
Oh, that's never
And-
gonna come out.
I'm still waiting for that fucking game to pop out.
Yeah, the same way that I'm waiting for like the Hollow Knight sequel that's never gonna come out. Yeah.
But we also didn't mention the one thing that I thought we all would mention. Fucking Childish Gambino in the Prowler suit.
That's right. I forgot about him.
Finally, a little like continuation from his little cameo in Homecoming.
Do you think he's going to appear as the Prowler in the MCU?
No.
I mean, he is Uncle Aaron in the MCU, so might as well do something with him.
Please let them do like a small scale Spider-Man film next. I'm tired of him saving the world. Let him do something small.
I mean,
I will say this.
That's what it looks like it's supposed to be playing out. Because I mean, the end of No Way Home, like he's just like, I'm just gonna be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, it destroyed him, so he can be
Build
built back up. Yeah, and also I'm gonna say this because no one is gonna say this, but I hope people who are doing Spider-Man material, I hope you remember Spider-Verse is not his only storyline.
For Miles?
No, for Spider-Man. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of multiverse stories with Spider-Man, and like just remember, you can do like street level Spider-Man. Just like, I mean, the animated ones, yeah, keep this story going, but like I don't want to see another live action multiverse Spider-Man story. I don't. Matter of fact, I would trade my entire memory of the MCU, like the last 15 years, if I could watch Beyond the Spider-Verse tonight. So like, just so they know like where we stand. This movie is, in my opinion, like the most loving thing that has been done to a comic book character in like, I don't know, maybe forever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I can't believe I get to watch something like this, that like very creative people who dearly love the character are exploiting it this way. Yeah, bring it on. Make more. Yeah. And if they want to take another year, fuck it. I'll wait. I'll be here. Not going anywhere.
Guys, Chema does not speak for the rest of us. Dude, don't take a year. Release it in March, please. Don't be assholes.
Yeah.
Release it in March. Take the Oscar again from Disney. I mean, they pretty much win that shit every fucking year.
I was convinced that this year it would go to like, I don't know, like Mario, but nah, not anymore.
I think this year it could be a tie-up. Granted, I think Spider-Man probably had the better story.
It's better overall. I think this is my favorite movie of the year so far. I think.
It's been a great year for film. Like so far, and we're only 6 months in.
Yeah. Like what's like the only bad movies that I've seen this year, I think, are like what, Cocaine Bear and Shazam.
What? Cocaine Bear is hilarious. It's not great, but it's hilarious.
I feel like it would have been funnier if I was like under the influence of something.
Watch it drunk.
I watched it once already. I'm good. But yeah, I think this is my favorite of the year so far. I think we'll see if something dethrones it, but it's a high bar. I don't know. I think it was Ferny. I think you mentioned this is a lock for the animation Oscar. Fuck it, nominate this for Best Picture.
I don't
do it.
I wonder if it could, but I mean, I don't think the Academy will fucking do it.
The Academy has nominated animated films before. It's just been a while. Yeah, 3.
But will they nominate a comic book animated film? They look down on superhero films. Don't forget.
Did you see the same movie that I just saw, man? Did you see it? Like,
hey, you don't have to convince me. You have to convince about 2,000 old fucks.
They're gonna die this year. Like, doesn't matter. Like,
look, we don't know if we're gonna get that lucky.
Like the only one that got nominated was Black Panther, and honestly, I felt like that was a pity nomination, like just to shut the people up.
That's how I felt about Joker being nominated, but
that's true. Yeah. And Toy Story 3 did not have a chance. I liked that it got nominated, but I knew it had no chance now.
Which one?
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3 was nominated for best animated for best picture.
Yeah,
it was. It's 3 movies. It's Beauty and the Beast, it's Up, and Toy Story 3. Those are the only ones that have been nominated for best picture.
We don't need Toy Story 5 Pixar, for the love of fucking God.
They're gonna give you that. They're gonna give you that because
the story. God.
Just because, and it's your fault. It's your fault because nobody saw Strange World in theaters. And nobody saw Lightyear in theaters, and now it's.
I took my whole family, and I paid for everyone. I was like, "Fuck y'all.
You were the only one that saw
Lightyear." I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna do the same thing with Blue Beetle. We're all fucking going. I gotta buy fucking 12 tickets, including for my dad. He's gonna go watch it. I will guilt him. Find a way. Before we get there, we gotta watch The Flash and all this other stuff. But that's it. Before we get to the Transformers films and all that other shit, what do I think? Final thoughts on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
A. Simple. A.
10 out of 10. Like, this is the easiest 10 out of 10 I've ever given, honestly.
Even though, Eddie, I thought you were gonna give it a A- because of it left on a cliffhanger, but it was a good cliffhanger.
That does, but no, like, and Ferny said I need to be more clear. When I say I'm frustrated with the fact that it ended with a cliffhanger, I mean that in a positive way. I can't wait to see what happens next, but I want so bad to know what happens next already. It's like the end of Infinity War. You want to know what happens next. Holy shit, Thanos won. He dusted people. Like, you want the next part of the story so badly already. You know what I mean? That's where I come from. When I say, damn it, it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, you just really suck with words, so I always have to get clarification from you.
Yeah, Nick, he says the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, remember when we saw Halloween Kills?
Yeah.
And like it ended and they were like, oh, wait until the end of the year, wait until next year to see what happens. It's like those are the kind of cliffhangers where I'm like, why? What was the point of this? This is a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We're expecting a third part, but it still left you wanting more.
Good, because the writing was masterful. The writing was great.
Yeah. And also, like, this feels like a complete chapter. Like, I'm satisfied with this, but I know I'm gonna watch it several times, like before the next one comes out. Yeah. So it's there. Yeah. No complaints. Easiest 10 out of 10 I've ever given. Yeah, nothing. Perfect. Next week. What are we doing next week?
I think we have two options.
I'm seeing Boogeyman on Tuesday.
Oh shit, I forgot about that one.
Okay, so we have 3 options, and I'm down for at least 2. We have Boogeyman, which I'm down. I'll go watch it. We also have Transformers, the Beast Wars,
the machines.
We got the We got the Beast Wars. Love that fucking show. That was a show I grew up on.
Or we have a third one that we could review. Ted Lasso. Season 3.
Oh, that's right.
I still haven't finished Ted Lasso.
Oh, finish it! What episode?
I watched I think I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I just kind of like got busy and just lost time. I've been watching Mayans, the final season.
I'm down for whatever y'all want.
I honestly do love that Disney bought Fox because they show a lot more shit on Hulu for those FX shows than what they show on cable.
Oh, I believe it.
Like, they show the full-on orgy.
All right, Ferny. Down. Okay. All right.
Not just that, but like they'll drop F-bombs. Because you know how like back then, like you'd watch like an FX show and you know deep down they really want to say fuck, but like they skirt around it.
You know, I've only heard on network television the fuck word dropped once, and that wasn't WWE. Rick from The Walking Dead. AMC paid the fine. The first viewing of that one episode where Rick says they're fucking with the wrong people. He says they're messing with the wrong people, but the first viewing he used the word fuck. Then all the subsequent viewings they used messing. AMC was like, we'll pay the fine one time. We'll pay it once.
But yeah, I do really love that they're doing that. But yeah. We could do Boogeyman. I'm watching on Tuesday, or if anything, I can do a video review to put on YouTube.
All right.
Yeah.
It's out here as well. I'll try to see it. Yeah, we'll schedule that.
I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that about covers everything. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. You can find our show on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify under the Rollbacks podcast. Future reviews coming soon. My name was Chema.
I've been Eddie.
And this is Ferny. This was your review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Let's cut it.